Here's the scenario nobody wants to think about, but every serious prepper eventually does. Grid down, no law enforcement, and a group of armed people shows up at your location. And there are more of them than there are of you. Most content treats this like a guns and ammo problem. Here's the honest truth most people won't say out loud. If you're genuinely outnumbered by organized, armed individuals, direct confrontation is a losing proposition almost every time. The math of attrition doesn't care how skilled you are. Today, we're covering what actually changes the outcome when you're starting from a position of disadvantage. Build an intelligence layer first. The single most underrated advantage you can build costs almost nothing and has nothing to do with firearms. That advantage is information. Looters, even organized ones, rely on surprise. They want to be at your door before you've had time to think. The moment you take that away, their entire approach falls apart. Avoid obvious cameras and floodlights. Visible security hardware tells any observant person two things. You have something worth protecting, and here are exactly which angles you're watching. What works better is low-visibility surveillance positioned well outside your property. Trail cameras placed at natural choke points 200 to 600 meters out give you warning measured in minutes rather than seconds. Mount them at knee height. That angle captures movement patterns and tells you whether someone is carrying heavy weight or moving with deliberate purpose. For closer coverage, modified battery-powered baby monitors provide real-time sound without the infrared glow most cameras produce at night. Pair those with fishing line and tin can tripwires, and you have a layered early warning system that requires zero technology visible from outside. But here's what most people completely skip: human intelligence. A neighbor who tells you 3 people were loading vehicles 2 streets over an hour ago is worth more than any camera system you can build. That context changes everything. Build those relationships now, before anything happens. Harden your position without advertising it. Most people harden in ways that signal they have something worth taking. The most effective hardening happens inside your structure, away from observation. Interior barricades built from furniture, stacked books, filled water containers, or garbage bags packed with soil add real ballistic resistance without any external signature. A couch pushed against a ground floor wall with 2 rows of water containers behind it stops most handgun rounds and significantly degrades rifle fire, while giving anyone outside zero indication of what's on the other side. Beyond the structure itself, think about channelization, physically shaping your property so anyone approaching can only do so from 1 or 2 specific directions. Use vehicle placement, stacked lumber, and concrete blocks. You're not making it impassable. You're making the easy path the one that puts them in open ground with poor concealment and clear observation from your position. On lighting, most people think about it completely backwards. Light at night reveals your position and destroys your night vision. But a high-powered spotlight aimed outward and operated remotely temporarily blinds anyone looking toward it. The key is, you're not at the light's location. Anyone who shoots at the light shoots at the wrong place. Inside, red light navigation preserves your vision while keeping your movement invisible beyond 15 feet. Deterrence and negotiation. Most armed looters are not looking for a fight. They're looking for resources, and the fight is a cost they'll accept only if the reward seems worth it. Your primary goal before any confrontation is making that cost-benefit calculation land against engaging you. Against opportunistic, disorganized looters, appearing abandoned often works. A dark, quiet property that looks already stripped offers nothing worth the risk. Against organized groups who have identified prepared households as targets, projecting confident and credible defensive capability may raise their assessed cost more effectively. Negotiation is probably the most uncomfortable tool on this list, and one of the most effective. Many people dismiss it as naive. It isn't. A statement delivered through a loudspeaker operated from inside your position while you remain behind cover signals awareness, implies external support, and leaves the other party an off-ramp to walk away without escalating. We are aware of you. We have notified others of your location. We are not alone, and we are not willing to allow entry. If you have a specific need, state it, and we will consider it. That statement buys time, provides intelligence, and creates outcomes other than violence. Never underestimate it. Defensive position principles. When deterrence fails, the principles that apply come directly from military doctrine on asymmetric small unit defense, because that's exactly what this situation is. A defender's most valuable asset isn't firepower, it's position. A single person in an elevated, concealed, fortified position controls an engagement far more effectively than raw numbers suggest. The attacker must move against you through open ground. You don't move at all. Prioritize in this order. Concealment first, meaning they can't see you. Cover second, meaning the material between you stops bullets. Observation third, so you see the approach before they arrive. Field of fire last. Never stand directly in a doorway or directly in front of a window. Standing 18 inches back from a window frame makes you effectively invisible from outside while preserving most of your view angle. Fire discipline is critical when you're outgunned. Every round is finite and irreplaceable. Shoot once, then move. If a second shot is needed, take it from a different position. Shooting from the same spot twice allows the attacker to triangulate your location. Don't overlook non-firearm tools. Commercial-grade pepper spray foggers designed for bear encounters can create a dense cloud in a doorway that makes forward movement physically impossible. Marine smoke signal devices provide genuine concealment for repositioning between defensive locations. Build a community network. Individual or small family defense against a genuinely superior armed threat is the worst-case scenario, and one that capable defenders lose more often than they win when numbers are truly unfavorable. The single most effective strategy for changing that calculus is collective action. Not a militia. Mutual aid with a clear understanding that you back each other up. A group of 12 adults across 4 households with overlapping observation, prearranged communication, and a shared commitment to mutual response is not just 3 times more capable than 4 people acting alone. It's qualitatively different. A threat that can overwhelm 4 defenders cannot reliably overwhelm 12, occupying multiple hardened positions with interlocking coverage. That conversation has to happen now, not during the crisis. Frame it around storms and power outages. Almost everyone engages with that question. Establish a shared communication channel, use it for normal everyday things, and agree on a silent visual alert system, a specific color of fabric hung from a window or a combination of porch lights that works with 0 technology and 0 infrastructure. Assign roles in advance, a primary communicator, responders who move to support a member under threat. A security element that holds position and expands coverage to ensure the visible threat isn't a distraction for a second group approaching from a different direction. Know when to leave. Knowing when to leave is one of the hardest decisions a defender ever faces. Every instinct pulls toward staying and protecting what you've built. But making that call too late is fatal, which is why you establish departure thresholds now, during calm planning time. A departure threshold is a specific, observable condition that automatically triggers the decision to leave, removing the need to make that call under pressure. If armed individuals enter our property and we can't contain them at the outer perimeter within 10 minutes, we execute the departure plan. Vague conditions don't work. Specific, observable conditions do. Plan 3 routes out: primary, alternate, and tertiary, all surveyed on foot and by vehicle. Know where the choke points are. Know where cover and concealment exist if you need to stop unexpectedly. Position a compromised cache away from your home. A small container with a 3-day food supply, water purification, critical medications, document copies, and cash. This is your everything went wrong resource, reachable even if you left your primary location with nothing. Every layer we covered today, intelligence, hardening, deterrence, negotiation, community coordination, exit planning, all of it exists to create options between doing nothing and shooting it out with superior numbers. The more options you have, the better your outcome. The strategies with the highest real-world success rate are built on deterrence, avoidance, and community, not on the outcome of direct engagements. If you take one action from everything covered today, make it this: introduce yourself to 4 neighbors you don't currently know. This week, not next week. That single conversation is the beginning of the most powerful defensive tool available to you. Hit like, subscribe for daily videos, and drop a comment. What's the first step you're taking?